Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second day of intern showcases. My name is June Bea, CEO of Bea Group. I wanted to welcome you all to the 2022 summer internship that Bea Group has been running with some communities since the last 7 years. So we have been working collaboratively with Downey Unified, Davis Joint Union Unified, as well as Glendale. And so I wanted to welcome you all. We have over 260 summer interns who have been working remotely this whole summer. And they had to apply, they had to submit a resume and do interviews to be selected. And so this is their final showcase. We have 16 different showcases. We had 4 yesterday. We have 4 today, and as well as Wednesday and Thursday. And so today I'm so excited to share that we have communication mastery with Arthur Joseph. And I'm going to turn it over to Arthur. So all of the interns had a chance to meet with Arthur for communication mastery, but this group has been working closely with Arthur and our co-designers in communication mastery. And so the interns also had a chance. So it's been 6 weeks we've been together. The first week they were onboarded with Bea Group and had communication mastery as a session, as well as leadership and social justice in the workplace. We had them all with work emails. They learned Microsoft Office 365. And now they are doing their final showcase with communication mastery. So hi, Arthur, welcome.
Hi, June. This is such an exciting moment. Our interns have done extraordinary work. I've been teaching this work for almost 60 years. And to have the opportunity to teach it to young people as you're about to experience today, to take on the work at the depth and level that they've taken it on, to make the commitment that they've made in sharing their origin story so integrally and in vocal awareness is an astonishing opportunity for me as a teacher. Thank you to all my interns. Thank you to June for creating all of this, and to each and every one of you. It's extraordinary what you are accomplishing, and a privilege to teach you. So I know that and by the way, all the interns, we are initially going to do them all on video, but last week when we were rehearsing and looking at them, they allowed me to say, let's not use video, let's do them live. However, we are beginning with the only one that will be on video from Erica, because she's en route from Mexico today at this exact moment and can't be here live. So everyone else has the courage, the conscious awareness, and the confidence to share their story, be who they are on YouTube with all of you live for the first time. But first, here is Erica. Thank you, by the way, to all of my co-designers, Cassandra, Juan, Marcella, Angela, Emily, Christine. I could not literally have done this without you. Thank you for doing all the heavy lifting. Here we go.
Good morning. My name is Erica, and my talk is about my origin story and culture. I chose to do my speech on this because it is important to me. So without further delay, here's my speech. Today, I will be sharing my origin story. To begin with, both my parents are immigrants from Mexico. My dad and his family immigrated to the LA area. A couple of years down the line, while visiting family in Mexico, he met my mom. They got married, moved to the US, and had my 2 brothers and I. We grew up speaking Spanish at home, eating Mexican food, participating in various Mexican traditions and customs, etc. Luckily, they chose a city in which the majority of the population is Hispanic, so it wasn't very hard for us to assimilate. Most of my friends were. I'm very grateful for that because it meant that growing up, I didn't really face any discrimination and could culturally relate to others, whereas others in other situations probably could not. Growing up, I've always felt very connected to my culture. Whether it was breaking piñatas at birthday parties or coming back from a hot day at school to a bowl of caldo de pollo, I've always enjoyed my traditions and customs. Going to Mexico over summer break had me appreciating my culture even more. I believe that it helped that most of my friends could relate to me in this aspect. However, I do remember some instances in which I did feel a little isolated from the rest of my classmates. For example, I grew up with my parents playing only music in Spanish. As a result, whenever my friends would sing the hottest new pop song that was trending, I never had a clue what they were singing or who sung it. There also came a time in which I began to feel embarrassed about speaking Spanish in public, even though almost everyone else did the same. I began to slowly incorporate English when speaking to my mom in public, rather than just speaking Spanish like at home. However, I then realized that there was no reason for me to be embarrassed because it was perfectly fine for me to be speaking Spanish in public, and I should not be embarrassed about it. I learned to be proud instead of ashamed and embarrassed. I believe that culture can make up a large portion of someone's identity, and therefore it's very important for someone to be connected to theirs. It certainly has played a large role in my life, regardless of how I felt about it throughout the years. As of today, I am proud of my culture and where I come from, and I wouldn't change it for a thing. Thank you.
Fabulous. Just wonderful. Thank you, Erica. Cassandra, who is next?
The next person that will be sharing is Demetrius.
All right. Good morning, Demetrius.
Good morning, Arthur.
When you're ready, my friend.
Hi, my name is Demetrius Stinson. I took this internship with hopes of only getting money from it. I soon realized how much I enjoyed learning vocal awareness. I would like to thank Arthur and all the lovely co-designers for this opportunity and helping me take the time to learn more about myself. Begin. I live in Los Angeles, California, home to many things and people. On the outside looking in, the city is definitely the place to be. The countless tourist attractions and portrayed common living are some of the main reasons not only the state, but the city itself is so populated. But for me, having lived here my entire life, it hasn't always been easy. I'm a young Black male who in today's day and age, I must know how to act if certain situations like gang violence or police brutality were to occur. If I don't, the consequences could be life-threatening. These encounters are common around my area, which can make it hard not only for me, but for other Black and brown kids just like me. Aside from the outside world, I battle my own self through my thoughts of my mother's health and also coming to senses that I'm not too far from becoming my own man. Nevertheless, my setbacks do not sway me away from my goal to become a biomedical engineer. For the most part, I've been pretty good. I work to obtain the things I want and need, while also getting assistance from my parents and other family members. Most of the motivation I get comes from my great-grandmother, Easter, who passed away in 2016. Having been one of the hardest times in my life, I had trouble coping with her death. This is because I have always lived with her until that point. The reason I get my motivation from her is because she never let me quit anything. She never let anybody quit anything. I learned so much from her, and she helped shape the man that I am today and will influence the man that I will be soon. I also have grown a love for the sport lacrosse that I was introduced to just within these past couple of months. It really taught me how to work as a team rather than just myself. And for this, I give thanks to my coaches and my teammates for being so welcoming. I also would like to give thanks to Arthur again and my co-designers because they have also taken the time to help me learn more about myself and the people around me. Thank you.
Thank you, Demetrius. Stunning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Emily is. Hi, Emily.
Hi,
And
my name is Emily Nunez, and I've been working on my vocal awareness with communication mastery. Through this internship, I was able to work and build on my confidence when speaking. The topic I chose to speak about is culture, specifically Mexican culture. In my talk, Captivating One's Culture, I talk about typical stereotypes, discrimination, and the importance of culture. This topic is important to me because it is a part of who I am and how I have grown up. Culture has always been a pivotal part of my life. Family is an extremely important aspect when it comes to Mexican culture. From quinceañeras to tamales and piñatas to frijoles, I have always grown up being surrounded by my own culture, whether it is food or specific traditions. Along with any culture comes cultural stereotypes and discrimination. In order to fix some stereotypes surrounding any culture, there must always be ways where one can become educated and begin a conversation. Topics like machismo, feminism, sexuality, and social educational status have all been combated by the growing generation. Combating such stereotypes and cultural barriers can be difficult, but simple conversations need somewhere to begin. Something as simple as sharing an experience can shed light onto concurring situations that many have been going through. Although culture has many ups and downs, there is no denying that culture brings people together. People who share common customs, beliefs, and issues. Whether it is big or small, I believe that it is valuable to encompass your own culture. In Mexican culture, culture means family. La familia es muy importante. Growing up in a Hispanic household, there are many traditional aspects when growing into adulthood. There are religious traditions like bautismo, comunión, quinceañera, etc. There are traditional foods like frijoles, tamales, pozole, menudo, tacos, etc. Growing up, I came to realize the importance of both my grandma, mi abuelita, and my dad, mi papa's journey to America. Placing myself in their shoes as young immigrants was nearly impossible. Their journey built up my family, a family that makes me both smile and laugh, worry and cry. Stereotypes between the roles of a man and a woman are very much visible in Mexican culture. A man is expected to be the head of the household and maintain a strong and rough persona. A woman is expected to bear a child, raise a child, all while cooking and cleaning. Some families may continue these standards, but there is very visible change. Generations have continued to learn and become educated on modern roles of men and women. Although things are not perfectly equal, women are being given more opportunities and are more likely to take a risk. The world is imperfect, but there are many ways in which one can educate young Latinas to become independent and reach for higher education. Resources can range from clubs, schools, and organizations that welcome Spanish-speaking youth and encouraging education. Like any ethnicity, Hispanics deal with many discriminatory obstacles. Sadly, these issues can be seen day to day. While I attempt to ignore discrimination made towards my dad, it was clear that I only set myself up to fail. Watching a shift in attitude or respect from an individual is visible. Opportunities that are stolen solely upon one's ethnical background happen far too often. While I am optimistic about change that is being made, it is important to highlight experiences. A friend told me about an experience she had just in the middle of a grocery store. She told me that she was in line with her mother, and a woman began to whisper discriminatory remarks towards her mom. At first, she was shocked, but later she began to feel and understand the threat her mother went through, a threat her mother did not even realize. I am proud of my culture. My culture makes me me. there is a quote that stuck with me. Preservation of one's own culture does not require contempt or disrespect for other cultures. Cesar Chavez. Thank you. Through this internship, Communication Mastery, I was able to gain confidence in rituals following vocal awareness. Thank you to Arthur and all the co-designers. Now I'll pass it off to George.
Thank you so much, Emily. That was impeccable. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Arthur.
Nice to see you today, my friend.
Thank you. Hello, my name is George Benya. The topic I chose to write about is my voice and how growing up, I realized I shouldn't be insecure about it. When I was younger, I loved to read books. I still do. However, I would read over talking to other people. In elementary school, even though I had many friends, though superficial, except for a few, I never liked talking at all. Whenever I did talk, I would be accused of being slow and mumbling, even though to myself I was moderately loud and fast. This made me frustrated, as I wanted to talk ideas to others, and repeating everything I said twice was such a bother, as I expected their full attention. Into middle school, I lost most of my friends, as they went to different schools than I did, and so I did not bother making more, preferring the library during snack and lunch. Late into middle school, I found myself wanting friends, and I opened up more. Spurred by want, I realized that my voice needed improvement. But once again, I was accused of being slow, quiet, and this time, monotone. I recognized this idea that my voice is underdeveloped, and so I gave up trying to improve. Although my interest was rekindled when I found this class, and I learned, as well as with experience, that anxiety makes you talk fast. I also learned that I don't need to make my voice any faster or slower. I merely need to grasp the power to speak bigger. There.
George, are you finished? Wow. It's one of the things that's so wonderful for me in watching all of you is to know where we were last week and see how hard each of you has worked in the intervening days to achieve what you're achieving today. Thank you, George. Exquisite. And who do you pass it off to, my friend?
And now I'll pass it off to Jose.
Good morning, Jose. How are you?
I'm good. And yourself, Arthur?
I'm fine, thanks. Ready when you are. Just take your time.
Hello, my name is Jose Serrano, and this is the final project that I have done for my Communications Mastery Deep Dive. Over the summer, we worked on skills focused on vocal awareness, and with this practice was the ultimate goal of having a speech to showcase our newfound skills. My speech is about my upbringing and the person I've grown to become. Hopefully, the work I've put in shows with this speech and in my day-to-day interactions after this. Growing up, I always felt I had someone to look up to. My whole family is comprised of hard workers trying to achieve their goals. Both of my parents came to America from Mexico looking for a better life, and decades later, they have it with their children who are successful in their own ways. This has always left me, the youngest of the family, to live up to the standards that both my parents and siblings have set. While this has always been a great motivator, it has also always been something that has scared me due to a fear of disappointment. As a child, I grew up in a full house until the age of 3, when my oldest brother, Alex, went off to college. For the next 8 years, I would only have one brother in my house at a time, due to my brother Michael leaving for college the same year my brother Alex graduated. As children of first-generation immigrants, my brothers and I have always been expected to succeed and take advantage of the resources our parents didn't have access to. While this may seem daunting, this has also always given us an appreciation for all the things we have been given, as even we know the true value of things others may take for granted. What sets me apart from my brothers, and what I feel is both a blessing and a curse, is how I am the youngest of the family. The aspect that makes being the youngest of the family good is that I never had to worry about the uncertainty of being the first to do something in the family. I also never had as much to worry about money-wise as my older brothers did, although there were times when it was on the back of my mind. One of the most important things that make being the youngest of the family a blessing is the abundance of role models to look to and the lessons I have learned from them. While all of these factors make being the youngest a great thing, it also has its drawbacks. One is the double-edged sword of having such great role models. Seeing everyone around me achieve such great things under the circumstances they were in is very inspiring. What comes with it, though, is the pressure I would find myself placed under. Expectations I would put on myself, and admittedly still put on myself, to not only achieve, but also surpass what my family has worked for, often prove frustrating to cope with, especially when at times I feel it's hard to even know what I want to do in the future. What often helps me when I feel confused about the future is the reassurance that my family will always be there for me and support me in whatever I choose to do. The support of my family has carried me through thick and thin, and I am infinitely grateful for everything they have done for me. As I have grown throughout the years, being able to ask for help is something I've gotten more comfortable with. This has proven to be very beneficial because earlier this year, I was able to acknowledge my struggles with mental health and ask for therapy. It was hard for me to look back to when the feelings I had felt began, but one event that impacted me greatly was the move from one school district to another at the beginning of middle school. This event changed me because although it was ultimately what was for the best, the overall experience caused me to develop social anxiety to an extent. The way I had to start from scratch in terms of making friends and getting to know people was stressful to the point where at the time, I was even considering going back to my home district just so I would have friends. Not going back, however, is one of the best decisions I could have made, as all of the connections and friendships I've built are not something I would have ever wanted to miss out on. The social anxiety that developed throughout the years has slowly turned into confidence. And even though I still feel general anxiety at times, going to therapy has taught me how to cope with it all. Being able to see myself grow in real time over the years and months is something I've been very proud of. And one of the things that I'm always trying to live by is to keep an open mind in everything. Even though it may be hard, I always keep in mind to trust in every decision I make, because I know if I do, I will succeed in anything I put my mind to. As long as I have a clear head, I have no doubt things will turn out for the best in my future. Thank you. This is Jose. And now I will pass it off to Joshua.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you so very much. Wonderful work. Hi, Joshua.
Hello, Arthur. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Good.
May I start?
When you're ready.
Hello, my name is Joshua Aguilar. I will be speaking on my past, and which led me to what I'm passionate about today. Growing up, I felt like an outsider. I struggled with being bullied and having behavior issues. Around this time, my parents divorced. Shortly after, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. Growing older, I stayed mostly with my grandma. Though, when growing up, I wasn't happy or confident with myself. I looked in the mirror, not satisfied with what I saw, which I discovered the gym. This journey was not easy. I noticed that progress in my body was not given, but earned. I started to work harder than ever, changing my diet to get the progress I wanted. Growing physically led to growing mentally. I was becoming confident with who I was. I created new goals, such as achieving a 4.0 in school, which school was always a struggle for me. Though this year, for my junior year, I achieved this goal of a 4.0. I became bigger on mental health and being happy, which was a struggle with me as I grew up. I started to read more and creating a vision board, which writing down goals showed that I needed to achieve them no matter what. Overall, creating discipline led to growth mentally, in which I can say that working out changed me for the better. I want to say thank you, Arthur, for giving me this opportunity with this internship. I learned a lot with it. I always struggled with stuttering and overall communication. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Joshua. It's deeply moving, as you know. Thank you so much. Who's next, Joshua?
I will pass it on to
Megan.
Megan.
Good morning, Megan. How are you?
Good morning, Arthur. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. You ready to do what you do, in soccer here? Be the champion you are?
Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Simon, and I've been in the Communication Mastery Deep Dive for the past 6 weeks, and it's been such a successful process. At the start of this deep dive, I was stuck in the routine of talking too fast and saying ums and uhs a lot. This deep dive has taught me how to overall become a better communicator and a speaker. I decided to write my speech about my journey to recovery after breaking my foot from soccer because this story is very close to my heart and is very important to the person I am today. Thank you so much for listening, and here is my speech. When I was around 8 years old, my soccer journey began when my curiosity grew for the sport from watching my older brother play. After years of many difficult practices, I was finally at the top of my game in March 2021. That month also stands out as one of the hardest times of my life. That year, I was juggling to play on my high school soccer team, an outside of school team, and was about to start playing on a club team. I've always been the person to push myself beyond my limit in order to become the best possible version of myself. Little did I know that hard work and determination would seriously impact my life forever. I had been feeling a sharp and annoying pain in my foot for over a year and chose to ignore it since everything within my soccer career was finally starting to work out. The pain would be constant, but I would tell myself that it was a minor injury and that I was overreacting. During a checkup, I decided to ask my doctor if he saw or felt anything wrong with my foot and explained the pain that I was feeling. After he looked at my foot, he said there wasn't anything noticeably wrong with it, but said I could get an X-ray taken. I felt relieved by my doctor's reaction and hoped that it was a minor injury. He made me believe that I shouldn't worry about it anymore, and I let my doctor know that I would not be wanting an X-ray unless the pain got worse. I continued all my practices and did everything I could to forget about the pain. It had now been over a year since the irritating pain had started, and it was becoming extremely hard to ignore it. I was so scared to get an X-ray because if it was a serious injury, I would be giving up all the many years and hard work I put into soccer. I was now at the point where I couldn't take the pain anymore and I couldn't push myself any harder, and I had to get an X-ray. A few days passed since I got my X-ray done, and my mom got a call from the X-ray place with the results. My mom walked into my room and let me know that my foot was broken and I needed to see a foot specialist. The worst outcome was happening right before my eyes, and there was nothing I could do to fix it. My mom made an appointment at an orthopedic foot specialist, and the doctor gave me some news I wasn't expecting at all. My foot had so much damage to it, and I waited too long to fix it, so the only solution was to get surgery. A week later, they wheeled me into surgery and found out that my tendons were completely shredded. They had to put multiple permanent screws in my foot. It took months of healing before I was finally cleared to even start physical therapy. I would completely have to start over and learn how to walk again. I would dread going to physical therapy every week because of how difficult and painful it was for me. Learning how to walk and use my foot again was one of the hardest things I've ever done. It was a physical and mental battle for me. Now here I am in August 2022, over a year after getting my foot surgery, and I am now fully recovered and back to playing soccer again. This entire journey was by far one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through, but it truly showed me how anyone can get through anything, no matter how hard it is. I chose to share this story for my communication mastery speech because of how much I learned from this experience overall and how much the story truly changed my life. Thank you so much to everyone and to Arthur and all the co-designers for helping me become a better and confident speaker. Thank you so much to everyone for listening to my speech, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. We're now going to move on to Adalis with her speech. Thank you.
Megan. Thank you, dear Megan. We'll come back together at the end of class. Thank you so very much. Good morning, Odalis. How are you?
Good morning, Arthur. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thanks for asking. You ready to show off?
Yes.
Let the whole world discover how magnificent you are.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Odalis Portillo. For the past 6 weeks, I have been working with Arthur to improve my speech, and with his help, I'm able to be here today to tell you guys my origin story. When someone asks what life goal you have, you tend to ponder. I have come across this question many times and still have trouble answering it today. I have not been really sure my whole life of what I wanted to do, but I believe my whole life it has been guiding me. A life goal I have is to empower others through the sense of communication. I would do this by becoming a psychologist. I would like to have the power and credentials to be able to help younger people in lower income areas who struggle with mental health illnesses to know that they are not the only ones struggling. I, for one, living in a lower income area, have never had the opportunity to talk things out with people when I was struggling. I want to help people with the use of words to find their potential. Self-actualization can motivate one to find their full potential. With support and having the ability to communicate what one thinks and feels, an individual can truly become stronger both physically and mentally. The key to communicating is allowing for vulnerability. Allowing oneself to be vulnerable will make others listen closer, and it can help oneself become open to suggestions and change to improve. Growing up, I never felt that I could be vulnerable because I didn't want others to think that I needed help. But recently, I have seen that it is an important aspect of life that everyone should do. I believe allowing oneself to be a little vulnerable can go a long way. My childhood has never been the best, even though I have received endless support from my parents. I grew up and still do live in a lower income area, South Central Los Angeles. Because I grew up in a lower income area, I have always had the dream to do something to help communities like mine and have always wanted to make it out of my area. I have never known how to do this until recently. When I thought of the word psychologist, all I thought of was a person talking to me and thinking that I'm crazy when I unpack some sort of trauma to them. But this year, my perception of psychologists has changed immensely. In my AP psychology class, we had a day where we shared some things that we have gone through anonymously. This was so very helpful because it was the first time that I ever had the ability to talk about things that I've gone through and seen. When people think of South Central Los Angeles, they think about crime rates, gangs, gang violence, and drugs. My family has been a victim of all these factors. We suffer in it, but in silence. I have not been the only one in my family to keep quiet about our feelings of what we've gone through. This is partially due to the fact that we do not know how to communicate our emotions and allow for vulnerability. Of course, we do support each other, but we still have trouble talking about the traumatic things that we have experienced. Despite crime and gangs being things that have affected my family, there has also been drugs. Drugs have affected my family more significantly than anything. People in my area take drugs to seek comfort when they feel hopeless or to just simply, quote unquote, feel better. But drugs took a part of our lives more than anything else that could have. Drug addiction took my brother from us. To this day, I am still trying to find a way to communicate my feelings, and talking about it for the first time made me feel relieved in the slightest way possible for the first time. Being a psychologist, I would be able to help not only myself, but others like myself to communicate. Communication plays a big role in how we feel. If one leaves their feelings to be bottled up inside of them, it will tear them down. I've seen it with friends from my area. They couldn't find the courage to speak to their relatives, but neither could they share their private life with friends. And it led them to seek comfort in self-harm. I don't want this to happen to anyone else because of the lack of mental health resources in communities such as mine. Living in a lower income area has shown me that people usually never ask for help, but I want to be a person who makes a difference, a welcoming one. Thank you. I will now pass this on to Oscar.
Odalis, thank you so much for your love and trust. Exquisite work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Oscar. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
Wonderful. Ready when you are. It's on your time.
Hi, my name is Oscar Escobar, and today I'm going to be sharing my dream and life goal of becoming a CEO of my own clothing brand. As a young child, it's always been a life goal of mine to work in business, whether it be in marketing or finance. However, my true life goal is to make it as a CEO of my own brand. I imagine having my own clothing brand and being able to see people walking on the street wearing my clothes. Even though it's my dream, I wasn't always supported by everyone. I was told that I was silly because I'm not smart enough to achieve something like that. However, that never stopped me from keeping my dream and goal alive, because I know that I can achieve such a height. Just as the people who supported me, my family and friends, the people who put belief in me. I keep this dream alive because of my own determination. Throughout middle school and most of high school, I've imagined myself graduating and majoring in business. Hearing about the internship program being given at my school, being able to work with Arthur, and realizing that what I'm learning is absolutely crucial to my journey has changed my perspective and reasoning with many of the things that I'm faced with in real life. I know that with time, effort, and many hours of hard and honest work bring me many opportunities paired with my knowledge of communication mastery. Aside from the work I've done with my fellow interns and Arthur, I've made my own agenda and set short and long-term goals to get to my end goal little by little. At the end of the day, my experiences, involvements, and my encounters change my actions and confrontation with what decisions I'm faced with. And it gets easier to do so with the support and help I'm getting with those around me. Thank you. I will now pass it on to Samuel.
Oscar, thank you, my friend. Such wonderful, wonderful work.
Thank you.
Hello, Samuel. How are you?
I'm doing good, Arthur.
On your time.
Hello, my name is Samuel Jane. Throughout the 6-week process in the deep dive communications mastery, I learned about finding my identity and how to confidently express myself through words. I felt like I was able to relate this process to how I grew up as a child with sports and how both have greatly impacted my life. I would also like to take this moment to thank Arthur and the co-designers for being committed to teach us and for June to give us this opportunity. Today, I am a much more confident and outgoing person due to the impact sports had on me. That, however, was not always the case. Growing up as a child, I was always timid, shy, and actually hated sports. I was afraid of how others would judge me for being skinny, being different as a minority race, and being the odd one out. I was always the kid who was the last pick for anything, and I never really challenged it. I had already accepted this to be the status quo for me. Being overlooked and last was something that hurt, but something I was slowly getting used to. That all changed when I was introduced to football. I have played many sports throughout my life, including soccer, basketball, track, swimming, tennis, and football. But out of all the sports I have played, football has made the biggest impact on my life. The first time I threw a football, I was discouraged. My skinny arms only managed to throw 10 yards as the ball chopped through the air like a helicopter blade. And even though I felt discouraged, I had an urge to keep coming back. I felt like I had something to prove. Football is not seen as a typical sport for an Asian, and it did not help that I was skinny. I found this out quickly when I tried out for my middle school football team, immediately being mocked by my peers and told to go home. While it hurt, that did not stop me from making the team and proving them wrong. What surprised me the most from this process was the respect I earned from my team. Going through everything together and working towards the same goal was something I never thought I would be a part of. Flash forward 2 years and now I'm playing high school football. I thought that all my trials and tribulations had passed with middle school football, but I could not have been more wrong. I did well in practice, catching every pass thrown my way, scoring a touchdown, and earned the spot to go play in a tournament with the select few on the team. And then all of a sudden, it all came crashing down on me. I dropped an interception, dropped the jump ball, dropped a touchdown pass, and was eventually benched. Not being a starter was something I had a really tough time handling. I envisioned so much for myself, hoping my spot as a starter would earn respect from my teammates. That vision was slowly fading away with the number of reps and playing time I received. Less and less after every drop. I really wondered halfway into the season if football was something I should continue playing. But when I was at my low point with football, one coach never gave up on me. Coach Anthony has given me an opportunity to play, an opportunity to learn, but more importantly, the opportunity to lead. Throughout the season, it was his goal to get me to score a touchdown. That was something that he made very clear with the team. While I was embarrassed that he would openly discuss this with the team, today I am very grateful he did. He recognized that when I was a starter, I was confident and led my teammates, uplifting them in every way I could. He used that as a way for me to push myself. While I did not start again for the season, I continued to lead my teammates. At our banquet, Coach Anthony presented me with the Dodi Sosa Award, an award named after a player who died on the field, but was a tremendous and inspiring leader on and off the field. Coach Anthony, when presenting the award, shared how when he saw me the first time, he was going to tell me to go home. But when he saw me help others playing for the first time, he expressed how that was the kind of leader he wanted on his team. I carried the same leadership for my sophomore and junior year, becoming the team captain for the receivers. Out of any academic and athletic awards that I have received, I will always value the Dodi Sosa Award the most because it represents my perseverance and growth, not as a player, but as a leader to help others. While I have moved on from football to focus on my academics, I still play other sports by joining track and volleyball. Football has always been a way for me to connect with others, whether it be leading them, making new friends, or just enjoy sharing the playing field with them. But more importantly, sports has allowed me to find myself and grow as a person. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. Such excellent work. What a joy. Seriously, thank you.
And now I will pass it on to Vianney.
Hi, Vianney.
Hi, Arthur. How are you today?
I'm super duper. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm ready when you are, but just take your time to get centered.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vianney Medina. I would like to say thank you to all of my co-designers and Arthur for this amazing experience. I would also like to say thank you to my coworkers for being very supportive. I will be sharing a personal story about learning to use my voice. This topic is very sensitive, and I am very grateful to be sharing it with all of you. Thank you. Growing up, I have always been kept quiet. I was never recognized in any good or bad situation. My so-called friends and family never showed any interest in my concerns and ideas. My childhood molded me into a closed-off and detached individual. Being this way has caused me a lot of problems. It has stopped me from maintaining long-term friendships, communicating my feelings, and most of all, using my voice. Not being understood was hurtful and caused a lot of insecurity. It has hampered my ability to become a confident individual. As I grew up, I was aware that I needed a change. I wanted to build my identity and allow people to know me as my authentic self. My parents did not live together, and I had to go through several emotional experiences. I started to feel stuck for the majority of my younger years, and verbal abuse became natural to me. These kinds of memories never completely disappear and have had a huge impact in my life. I had a mom who grew up with an alcoholic parent and a dad who did not have papers and had a limit in opportunities for his future. There was a lot of baggage in this relationship, and it eventually followed into my childhood. My dad was never there for me physically or emotionally. I grew up being told to not show weakness and to keep my tears to myself. Or I shut down when it was time for me to speak up. Dealing with young parents who only knew so much about raising a child was difficult, and a lot of my independence had to be developed on my own. During my high school years, I found myself enjoying my own company and being in motion under my own circumstances. I didn't depend on anyone or try to live up to their expectations. Over time, I started to feel isolated and self-conscious. Up until recently, I made the choice to push myself and engage in situations where I needed to use my voice. I have committed myself to participating in clubs, sports, volunteer work, jobs, and preparation courses. All of these extracurriculars have shaped me into being social and hospitable. I have been able to branch out and meet new people in and out of a professional setting. A change came for me when I understood the value of my opinions. Being ignored and keeping my thoughts to myself were things I was accustomed to. My confidence increased as I raised my voice more. There were many emotions through this journey because I was very proud of my willingness to use my voice, but also sad that I hadn't focused on it sooner. I now know that using my voice and being open is not being weak. Everyone carries feelings and should be allowed to express themselves when it is needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Vianney. Just profoundly moving. I'll share more later, my friend. Thank you. Who are you going to pass it on to?
I was the last person, so now I'm passing it on to you.
Oh, okay. Wow. I want to put us in groups so I can see everyone. Sorry. So, June, we're all still on YouTube together?
We are. And if it's okay with all of you, I would like to ask some questions. Are you up for some questions? So I'm curious. I'm also checking YouTube to see if there's any questions from there. So as you all know, communication mastery is near and dear to my heart. Arthur is my mentor and dear friend. I get emotional listening to all of you. So I will ask a question of, what did you think about doing an internship remotely? And how do you feel now that you've just done what you've done in the showcase?
Who wants to be first before I call you up?
May I answer that?
Please.
Okay.
Demetrius, yes, of course.
For me, it was kind of breathtaking because when I first started the internship, I used to get called out a lot because of how much I participated. And, you know, Arthur used to say a lot about how I talked, and it was very constructive. It was very constructive. Even now, I still use some of the white noise, but I feel like for the most part, I corrected it because of him and also all the co-designers, even playing little games to get us to remember what to do. And I really appreciate that.
And as you were just sharing, Demetrius, every bit of that was in conscious awareness. You were in your breath, you were relaxed, you were telling your truth, and fundamentally at a different communication level than when we met 6 weeks ago. And you know it. So one of the things that everyone explored from day one was the difference between presenting and being. And in our performances, you saw people being. You just saw in Demetrius being. Just wonderful. Thank you, Demetrius, for your contribution. Who else wants to join and answer June's thoughtful question?
Is it okay if I speak on it?
Who is, oh, yes, Megan. I heard the voice, but I didn't see where you were.
Well, I think that it's crazy how much Arthur and all the co-designers were able to teach all of us in the short amount of time in just 6 weeks, because everyone has made such huge changes to the way that they communicate and speak. And I think Arthur has made a really big impact on everyone's life, especially these past 6 weeks. I personally have learned so much. Again, before I would use ums and a lot because that's a common issue with everyone. But I think everyone now is more conscious and listening to themselves. That's one thing that Arthur taught us, is to listen to ourselves and to breathe. So I think it's just crazy how much everyone has grown and how much everyone has learned within these past 6 weeks. So again, just thank you to all the co-designers and to Arthur, because everyone has truly, truly grown.
And again, June, I mean, June and I see it. We're both are easy criers, and it just moves us deeply to experience the authenticity of what you were sharing, not just what you were saying, but how you were sharing it. And one of the things, of course, as June knows, this is communication mastery where there is no off switch. This isn't only about a 5-minute performance. And here in you and Demetrius, this is an example of how you're paying it forward, because now you can use this in your life. And that's the whole goal. So thank you, Megan. June, do we want to have some more people?
I would love to hear from other voices if you feel called to share.
Vianney, Odalis,
I can.
George, anybody? Vianney.
Yeah. So I would like to start off by saying that in the beginning of this whole process, I found myself like feeling silly because of the 7 rituals that we were learning. I wasn't used to them at all. I was like, what is this? You know, I've never been experienced with this. But as time went by, I noticed that each and every single of those rituals really helped me speak. For example, our breath, our 5 to 7 second breath, that was so helpful. It helped me slow down and really listen to myself. And I'm sure it helped all of my other coworkers as well. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say, because I found myself feeling silly in the beginning, and now I will be using those rituals for the rest of my life. So thank you.
Thank you. You give me chills, Vianney. Thank you so much. Anyone else? You don't have to, just asking.
I'll go.
Who was the I'll go?
Samuel.
There you are. Okay, Samuel.
So for me, kind of like Vianney, I also thought initially this process was interesting and almost silly. The yawn side.
Almost silly. It's totally ridiculous.
Yeah. The yawn side, when like we first did it, it was something that really shook me. And I was like, there's no way this actually can help me talk better and express myself. But going through the process and trusting it, that's something that was really life-changing for me. And as Arthur said many times, it's about being our authentic self. And it's kind of like an onion layer. We're not necessarily changing ourselves, but rather we're finding ways to express ourselves better. And the rituals are something that really helped me, because every time I talk, I feel like I just say what's off the top of my head. But now, after learning to slow down and think about what I'm saying and really be conscious about it, I feel like I could deliver myself more powerfully. And that's something I'm very thankful for.
And Samuel, if you look back at this, and as you just shared that, every bit of that was with support. Every bit of that was with Edge and Arc and your conscious awareness. And listen to the enormous difference in the size of your voice and the pace and the breathing. And yet all we saw was you. We don't see all the work. And so you did get how all of that was in the work, though, correct?
Yes.
Yes, just stunning. Thank you. Well.
Wow. And I would actually like to put it out for the co-designers. So if you could each share, you all took on additional responsibilities. So just so everybody knows, at Bea Group, we're so fortunate that we have all of our co-designers are alumni of the summer internship program. They have been with us, many have been with us now for going on 2+ years. So they started as interns, like who you're experiencing right now. And then afterward, we actually put out an application and they've applied and interviewed to be co-designer interns at first, and then they become co-designers. So all of them who are co-designers with us are in college now. So they started as juniors, becoming seniors in the summer, and then now are sophomores in college. So I welcome any of you to start sharing about your experience and the additional responsibilities you had in working with all of our interns.
Also, before June passes it on, each of our co-designers has studied vocal awareness very, very intensely, and which is another level of commitment. So as I said at the outset, this would not have happened without them. So thank you. Go at it, guys. Share. Come on.
All right, I'm going to call on Cassandra. Thanks, Cassandra.
Okay. So as June said, my name is Cassandra Martinez, and the first time I met Arthur was actually 3 years ago when I was in high school, and he visited my robotics team. He scared me at first, but I genuinely love spending time and learning with Arthur now. And I was in a very awkward place, as well as most the other interns. I thought the work was silly and I didn't really understand what was going on. But the more time I spent with it, I really appreciate everything that he's done for us and the opportunities that he's given us. As far as my work with the interns, I was able to lead a bit of instruction with them at the beginning and install some of the rituals that Arthur was teaching them and have them practice yawn size and things like that. And I was also the person that was on their butts, making sure that they got their work done, turned it in, was practicing and bugging them to make sure everyone stayed on track and was happy. But I enjoyed every ounce of it, and I love seeing all of the improvement that they made. And trust me, they made so much improvement. They did amazing.
Thank you, Cassandra.
And I go next. Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Angela, and I've been with Arthur and vocal awareness for about 2 years now. So I started off as a 2020 summer intern, and that's when I first met Arthur and his work. That was back when vocal awareness wasn't even a deep dive session yet. It was just a workshop. I was a very shy I wasn't really shy per se, but I wasn't a great speaker at all. I was afraid of public speaking, and I knew that was what I needed. So I thought vocal awareness, like with the rituals and stuff, it was a bit silly, but I knew I needed to stick with it and to pursue with it even beyond the internship. So I did, and I am very grateful for this opportunity of having this privilege to stick with vocal awareness, because it's not something that everyone has access to. So the journey has been amazing. I don't think I have any more ums and uhs in my vocab anymore. And I learned more about myself, and it's about a personal discovery and a lifestyle change, because I am more in tune with my communication and just how I present myself to others. And I want to thank Arthur for that. And as for my journey for this summer internship of teaching and helping with the communication mastery deep dive, I was actually only here for the first week, and I was just helping out here and there on the side for the whole duration of the deep dive, because I had other responsibilities going on. And I will like to give Cassandra a big shout out, because this girl, this co-designer, she carried the entire internship. She was on all the interns' butts, getting their drafts in, getting all of their videos in. So yeah, thank you so much, girl, because I know all of us other co-designers, we weren't able to fully help. So thank you very much. And from my perspective, it's amazing to see how much the interns have grown. I remember our first meeting, all of you guys were so shy. All of you guys wouldn't talk to each other and stuff. And when Arthur would show you guys the exercises, you guys, on your face, you guys would just be like, what is this? But now seeing your guys' speeches, it greatly moved me, especially Vianney's, because I relate to her story so much. I was tearing up, and it's just amazing to see your guys' dreams and goals, and just having the privilege to learn a little bit about all of you guys. It's great. So yeah, this summer was great for me. Thank you all. Oh my God, I want to cry.
Emily, where are you?
I'm here, Arthur. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily. I was part of the 2020 summer internship experience, similar to Angela and Cassandra and Juan. And I just have to say it's been an absolute pleasure. Not only just hearing all of the memories recounted from Cassandra and Angela and just wanting to tear up myself, but in this process of vocal awareness and how it's changed all of us immensely. And I remember the first time I worked with Arthur, I was a very shy person, and every single time I'd speak, he'd have his hands cupped to his ears because he would say, I cannot hear you. You need to speak louder and you need to embody your confidence. And it's just been a tremendous journey from there. And I'm so grateful for this experience to be able to work with Arthur and to be able to work with the other co-designers. It's just been truly an incredible experience. And then fast forward to this summer where you guys all came in. Oh my gosh, that first yawn sigh, you guys didn't even want to unmute. It was so funny. And just getting the privilege of being able to teach and getting to improve our vocal awareness skills and share them with you guys as well. It was just awesome. And getting you guys to be more comfortable with us and laughing together during those sessions. It was just an amazing experience. And I'm so happy to have seen your guys' growth. And again, huge props to Cassandra and Angela. Teaching with you guys was awesome. And I think it shows, and your guys' growth has been incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Em. Just thank you. And one of the things that I was sharing with some people in New York yesterday, that one of the things that has moved me so much with all of going back from to the beginning of our program, and now most definitely in these past 6 weeks, is how quickly you trust. To reveal what you revealed in these origin stories, that they were, of course, you were only allocated 3 minutes, but you all took 5+, because it wasn't about the limited time, was about the integrity of the story you needed to tell. And for you to reveal, to trust, I've said to you in day one, I cannot empower you, but I can help you empower yourselves. And that's exactly what you're doing. And imagine this is just the beginning of what's possible. That's astonishing. So what you've created here in the origin stories, when those of you who may apply to college, you can reframe these in your applications. You can use this information when you sit down with counselors and advisors, et cetera, et cetera. You no longer have to feel awkward or disenfranchised. You now know how to claim your power. And to have you work this hard to achieve what you're achieving, it's just humbling. And I wish I'd known me at 17. I barely knew me at 17, let alone do what you guys are already doing. My goodness gracious. Thank you. June? And this, of course, is all due to this wonderful woman sitting down in the right corner of my screen. Now she's in the middle of my screen. Because you're not going to meet a more integral, honest, dedicated, compassionate, brilliant, committed human being than Ms. June Bay. I can come up with a whole bunch more adjectives, but you get the point. So you're not being taught by somebody who only talks it, she walks it. So thank you.
You have all upped the game, because you all doing what you did inspires me to carry myself differently. Because now you can see it. I couldn't do what I do now if I hadn't been working with Arthur, because to be able to step into my own power. I couldn't do that until I was in my 40s. So to be CEO was not something I thought about as a child. And so to hear you share your story, I am so moved by all of you. This is the dream. What you have all done has been my dream. And so people have said to me, why do you do what you do? why I do what I do is because of all of you. It's because of you being as vulnerable as you were in sharing your stories and owning your own power. In 6 weeks, I want everybody to just stop and breathe and accept how much you have accomplished in 6 weeks. It gives me chills. All my fingers are tingling right now because I feel it in my whole being, how I could feel your power, your energy. It is my dream for all of you in this internship to have those moments of, I got this. If you all walk away with a little bit more of, I got this, I can believe in myself. I take my story, my origin, my family, my history, my culture, everything about me. If you can all do this and feel a little bit like this internship had a small piece of it, my dream is a little bit closer to reality. So I am so honored and proud to have you be part of this journey. And so I knew when I met Arthur that my life was different after. And I'm so excited that you at your age could have a chance to work with Arthur also. So I keep telling folks that you're all my social experiment. I'm a researcher. I would love for all of you to stay in touch with us, with your co-designers, with me, with those of us at Bea Group.
With me.
With Arthur. We do what we do because our hearts are in it. This is really about you all. If there's anything we can do to support you, please. You all know that I'm still in touch with my first boss at JPL, my journalism teacher in high school, my philosophy professor in college. I have my professor who unfortunately passed from Johns Hopkins. I have people at every step of my life who have made a difference in my journey. And I want you to hang on tight to those people, stay in touch with them, whoever they may be, because those are the people that just make a difference. And so please stay in touch with us. And so anyways, I'm so deeply moved, and thank you all. I feel like I've gone on, so.
And also, let me just add one little thought. I believe you all have my email. If you don't, please get it if you choose. And if I can never be there for you off the clock, if you need a letter of recommendation or any of these types of things, don't hesitate at any point to reach out. And there's nothing more for me to say. You know where I'm coming from.
I'm going to turn off the recording. All right. So those of you on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Our co-designers, thank you all. I wanted to thank all of the interns. We will stay on Zoom. And I wanted to give a plug. We do have more showcases today. So at 12, there's finance and investing. Please join us on the Bea Group YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. At 2 o'clock, we are back with podcast. And then at 4 o'clock, we are doing music production. So as I've said, we have 16 different deep dives. We just did number 5. So there are many more. We have showcases tomorrow, which is Wednesday. And then Thursday, there are 4. So thanks for joining us, and we'll be back. Thank you.
And our